$130. That's probably the cheapest I've paid in 2 months. I got my monsters for the morning. Let's get going.
It's Alex from Hoppos. Custom work come from Hoppos.
What's up and good morning, guys? How are you? Alex here from Hoppos with another video for you guys. And right now we're topping off. Got the trailer still, but we're heading to the shop right now. We are gonna get set up and finally finish Craig's Impala, because it was supposed to happen yesterday, but yeah, trailer delivery, car delivery, so we kind of flipped the days. Today was supposed to be the day I was gonna drop these off, so we're just gonna flip-flop them. So today's the day that we gotta get it and make it happen. Now let's get to the shop, let's get working. Let me show you guys what we're working with here. Batteries, install, wiring, 8 battery chargers, and just a once-over on everything. Let me grab my... Oh, didn't think this through. I can't open the door. Okay, now let's grab these guys and let's get out of here and let's get started with the day. Oh, it looks like we got a visitor. Looks like one sexy's here. Alright guys, so as I was gone yesterday, the guys went ahead and took care of Craig's Impala. We got all the batteries in. They did a full once over on the front end, checked out the bushings, ball joints. We did put a new set of arms in there, so they went through and just made sure all the bushings were good, ball joints were good, cylinders, cylinder bolts, all that stuff was good. So as of right now, we do got it sitting on a trickle charge, making sure it's all ready for us. So when we finish everything up on the front side, this car fires right up. Get this guy detailed up, cleaned up real quick to get it sent over to its next spot. But before we can do all that, we gotta jump and finish on all the batteries, which the guys, luckily, somehow, I don't know how, they actually put the batteries in. So I'm actually a step ahead right now, which is pretty exciting. I got all my cables crimped up right here, and we're gonna go run through and get everything installed. Alright, so what I'm doing right now, you kind of see blue tape marked out throughout the whole car. I'm kind of going backwards a little bit, and the only reason for that is because, well, I didn't necessarily install the batteries. I want to double check it. It was a great thing that the guys tried to go move forward on it, but the problem was this car wasn't functioning because it had already gone and kind of touched other hands. So what I'm doing is going through and just making sure that the wiring is correct, that there's not going to be any grounding issues, making sure everything's heat shrunk properly, making sure each wire is corresponding with the correct pump and dump and solenoid. So I'm marking out back right solenoid is this way, front right solenoid is that way, same thing for the opposite side, and same thing for the pumps. Now right now, as far as the dump wires, the guys did label those and match those back together for me. So I'm going to go off of those, but worst comes to worst, if you have to retap and change them, I could do that and address it from the front side inside the actual switch panel. So right now I'm just kind of going through and doing a once over on the wiring, just because again, it's gone through so many hands, this car, and so many other shops. I want to just make sure that we're going to be the last ones touching this. So I want to make sure that whatever is done and it has been done was done correctly and there was no grounding issues. I did see a few things where I wanted to just kind of grab the wires, bunch them together, you know, cloth tape them and zip tie them together, just so there's no issues with it vibrating and rubbing against any metal. So I'm just addressing all that kind of stuff right now. Normally on a new build we wouldn't have to do that. Obviously we did do this build years back, but it has transferred from other hands. So I just want to make sure that what we're doing is correct, and just kind of double checking the guys, double checking myself, and double checking anyone else that has ever worked on it. So far we're looking good. I think we got everything figured out, what corner does what pump does what, and what solenoid does what. With everything labeled now, I just got to connect those guys together. So now we can get the batteries back in. I did want to do a little touch up on the rack. There was a few sections that were kind of starting to change colors and, you know, rust up a little bit, so we did go ahead and paint them all up again. We do got to clean up all this upholstery and all this stuff that California did. It was great, but it's been sitting for years. So I want to get it all scrubbed up and cleaned up as best as we can. Try to get some of these stains off of this upholstery as well. So, got a lot of work ahead of us. A lot of cleanup and just zipping up and making sure everything is done and wired properly. So far we're looking good. Maybe another hour or so on this, and then we'll get the batteries installed. All right, so far all the cables are looking good. You're gonna see a lot of like this loose wiring right now. This is actually for all the lighting that's gonna be inside the panels. This was all done in California, so I gotta figure out how to reroute it back to what it was originally. A little hard because we didn't build the upholstery, but we'll figure it out. So for right now, I'm gonna start sliding batteries in, and we're just gonna hope that all the lighting and everything still works after all these years. Hopefully, cross my fingers. But let's get batteries in right now. What I did is I hooked all my positives up to the left side, all my negatives up to the right side. All these are all negatives, all these are all positives, and I'm going to do the same thing on that side. Now normally I do that just to keep everything matching, symmetrical. The wires are all dumped the same, and in the end it's just easier to track the wires long term. I'm not a personal fan of crisscross when you flip up the batteries. For one, the stickers don't match, the cables are opposite, so that's the little things I don't like personally. It works, it still works. A lot of people do it. It's just, I think this way it looks cleaner. I think it looks more matching, so it's more symmetrical, and I think it's easier to trace long term. Alright, battery hold down is on. I got some new hardware just because other ones didn't look so good, so I put all brand new hardware. We're going to be running, obviously because it's 4 pump, we're going to go 4 pump, 2 banks of 48 volts. We're pulling this one right here is going to be our main ground, which will be connected to a quick disconnect in the front. This negative is going to jump over to the other negative over there. Now, this is not no tutorial, it's not a how-to video on how to do it. I'm just showing you guys the process of busting. Now, when you're playing with this stuff, when you're playing with this high voltage, just make sure you guys be very safe about it. Make sure you guys are pulling off any type of wedding rings, make sure you're pulling off necklaces, watches. Don't run any of that stuff or use any of that stuff or have it on while you're playing with voltage because you will pry up your finger or your neck. Don't do that. Don't do it. I see a lot of guys doing it. Don't do it. Be safe about it. Be smart about it. And if you don't know anything about the batteries, always reach out to us and we can help you. A lot of times I don't like putting a tutorial on electrical just because there is a huge liability on it. So I cannot stress enough, make sure you have this done by someone who knows what is going on and has done this before. And what I'm showing here is only a process of what we're doing, not necessarily a how-to or a technical video. First ground battery, so it's number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Same thing on that side, it'll be number 1, 2, 3, and 4. 48 volts only, 2 banks of 48, carrying the ground. Second battery right here, inside terminal is going to be our positive for the switches, that's going to be 24 volts. Alright, so all the wiring is all done right now. We got all the batteries in, all the cables in. Everything has been traced back. Everything's looking good. As of right now, we're just waiting on oil. We put in an order for all the parts to drop off oil earlier, but unfortunately it's not here yet. So I think what's gonna happen is I think I'm gonna have to drive up to the store because I can't wait. I'm running out of time. I got other stuff I gotta do. So we gotta get oil in here, get this guy up, test it, check it out pressure, get it all washed up, cleaned up, get upholstery in, and then just do it once over on the rear suspension. We haven't done that yet because the car hasn't been able to function and go up and down yet. So as the car goes up and down, then we'll do a once over all on the backside. So I guess all the parts loaded in. Let's go. Oh, and just like that, YouTube magic, we have oil. We're quick and we're back, and let's get loaded up. A little spill on that, but that was like our test run right there. We know that 2 quarts is exactly what it feels to take that, fills this up. So I'm gonna go 1 quart, then I'll go slightly under. I'll go 28 ounces instead of a full quart. Absolutely love that. Got a surprise visit from my daughter and my wife. They came up. My daughter absolutely loves cars. It's funny. She claims Little Red and the van are both hers. So of course, what do I do? Those are both hers. Right here. Craig's car, we got it up on stands in the rear. We got everything tested, cycled. We already bled the front side of it. On the rear right now, we got it all topped off. Everything's looking good. You're gonna take Craig's out for a little test drive, make sure everything's doing good, make sure it feels good, it's handling good. Everything feels really, really solid in the front right now. It responds exactly how it should. Right now I'm just checking for any type of weird vibrations, noises, sounds like that. We're over here on a cul-de-sac, so it's a really easy spot to come over here and test drive. You have a little bit of smooth surface and you have a little bit of rough surface too, so it kind of gives you a good idea of how the car is going to ride and drive as well. So what I like about this is there's no through traffic, so I can literally, it's like a test strip for us. It's a good quarter mile or so long. So it's good. So far it's feeling really, really nice though. The one thing I do feel is you just, like even at, I'm going 21 miles an hour right now. And even at low speeds, you just feel the sidewall of these 520s. Ah, man, I hate that. It just feels so unsafe. I mean, I love the look of 520s, but the reliability and drivability of a 520, it doesn't compare to a radial, but looks don't compare either. So I'd rather have the look of a 520, but the performance of a radial, which obviously there's nothing out there like that right now. Fortunately, it does sound like he's possibly low on power steering right now. He's getting a little whine, so I'll flip it back around and go to the shop and check the fluid level on that. It's been a few years since this car ran from what we've been told, so right now it looks like water temp is 190 and rising, so I'm going to keep my eye on that and see how it does. Other than that, it feels good. Besides the 520s, the 520s are just all over the road, even at 29 miles an hour right now. I did see right now the water temperature hit 198, then the thermostat must have opened, must be a 200 or something, because now it's dropping back down to, there you go, you can see it dropping right now. All right, 191, everything's looking good. We'll pull back into the shop right here. We did put the HD ball joints on the front of this guy with 1 3/8" extension, and sitting in here you can definitely feel it right now. I'm actually driving it with the front completely locked up, which normally I wouldn't, but I'm testing it to see how the coils and everything feels. Yep, broken down. Luckily I'm literally like, I'm maybe like 6 buildings away from the shop right now on our main street coming into the building, but this is why we test drive. It sucks, but I think what the reason is, I think the customer left us the car with no gas. The fuel cell or the fuel percentage rating on here does not work, but it sounded like it just died. Doesn't sound like it gets any fuel. It's cranking, everything's doing good. I'm just sitting in here. The guys are checking to see if we have some fuel sitting at the shop, which we topped off one of the cars not too long ago, so we should have maybe a gallon or 2 over there. I'm hoping, because I'm gonna get sunburn over here, but we'll see. Let's see how long it takes. It's what time is it? It is 3:21 right now in the afternoon. I was hoping to get this car done and dialed in, test drove, washed up, cleaned up, all by 5 o'clock today, but I don't think so. Yep, AAA. All right, there's AJ gonna go get me some fuel. And in the meantime, I guess we're just gonna enjoy the California sun right here. Well, just like AAA, they took 45 minutes to return a phone call. And look at that roadside service. AJ's towing to the rescue. Now, I'm hoping that this is the problem.
Fingers crossed that it's the problem.
It just died out on me, so we'll see. It actually died out over there on that side, and I just rolled it over here. I should have parked in the stall because I'm burning up over here. You didn't leak?
Nope.
Dang, you're probably the first guy in history ever not to leak on a California complaint gas can.
A lot of practice.
Alright, so you can see, we're out here, literally stuck in the middle of the street. Luckily, like I said, the shop's just literally right there, but we were doing a little test drive, and everything was feeling good until it didn't. Alright, well, seems like that's all it was. Thank you. That will be $45 for fuel side, roadside fuel side. Alright, now, before this thing dies on me again, let's get back to the shop. We only put in about 2 gallons in there, so it's not gonna last very long on this motor in this car. So I'll just get back to the shop real quick and get this thing washed up, cleaned up, dusted out, and we should be good. So I was getting everything all washed up, cleaned up, getting all the dust, grime off of it. This thing's been sitting for a while, so when we got it, it was pretty beat. So we're gonna get everything all washed up, cleaned up, Obviously, we're not gonna get like a huge, massive, full undercarriage detail, but we're gonna wipe up everything that we touched, make it look better than when we received it. So far right now, it's looking like a whole different car. It's like night and day. All hands on deck right now, doing some of the final tucking over here. On the front, we noticed the quick disconnect was getting a little bit warm. And so we're checking it right now, and AJ figured out it's going down to the body. So we're gonna swap that over so it goes down to the seat bolt, and we're gonna run the seat bolt directly to the chassis so we get some good grounding going. We're gonna climb underneath this car, and we're gonna get this seat bolt loosened up and get a good ground under here. That way we're not fighting ground and relying just on body panels. We'll go directly to chassis, so we don't have any issues.
Chrome suspension. Look at the car, you know who did it. I don't have to mention. They know it's Alex from Hoppos, 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 Hoppos. Custom work come from Hoppos, Hoppos, Hoppos. I'm Rob Taylor 504. For anybody that